Hi, my name is Christine, and I'm one of several people who over the next 4 weeks is going to be helping you enter the exciting world of creating virtual lessons. Now, as you may have seen from last year's cohort, these videos can be quick instructional opportunities for you to walk through an activity or a very specific topic with your students as part of a larger lesson plan, or act as their own fun little nuggets of an activity. So I know the specifics of what you're going to be doing at any given school and who you're going to be teaching are currently a little unknown. So our hope is to walk through in the next 4 weeks how to plan, film, and edit engaging and thoughtful videos to help you virtually teach. While this is going to be a pretty quick deep dive into a lot of things, our hope is that you can engage with it as much as feels useful and come back to it whenever you need it. We will definitely be here to help you along. But in order to get started, we're going to have Jim talk us through how to get comfortable on camera, that old wriggly beast. And then we're going to have Tori talking about workflow. How do you begin to approach the idea of even making a lesson?
Hello, my name is Jim Cotter, and I have been a broadcast journalist for about 30 years. And today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks, some of which I had to take a long time to learn, that will hopefully make your videos just that little bit better. So the three things I want to cover is why it's important that you talk to camera and how challenging that can be. I want to talk to you about how we use eye contact and how we use eye level to talk to our audience. And then finally, I'm in anticipation of my making some mistakes here, I just want to let you know that you should roll with the mistakes. Just finish it. If you're not happy, redo it all over again. I'll explain why in a second. First up, talking to your audience directly, i.e. talking to camera, is sort of difficult. It makes you feel self-conscious, you don't like the way you look on the screen, yada yada yada. It took me about 20 years to find acceptance with how I looked and how I sounded. And I'm never going to be happy with it, but I found acceptance. And the way I did it was I just kept doing it and kind of ignoring my own disquiet with how I looked and sounded. And eventually it was okay. So that's the first thing. It's important that you do connect with your audience because, particularly in this day and age, you may be talking to somebody who you've never met in real life before, and you need to make a connection with them. And you can't just be some disembodied voice or some email, some address in their email book. So this is really important, and it's a really great way to connect to people. A really great way to sort of desensitize yourself or to get practice. Make video letters to people who won't judge you, people who care about you, maybe grandma, maybe a friend from high school, somebody who, you can just talk to straight down the camera lens and feel comfortable doing that. And that will make it easier for you. They'll also be really happy to hear from you, particularly if it's an older person. If they can work out the technology, it'll be really lovely to get a video letter from somebody that they care about. Let's talk about eye contact. In a normal conversation, we would not stare at somebody in the eyes as I'm doing with you right now for long periods of time, because it starts to feel creepy. The general rule is if I'm speaking, I'm not looking in your eyes all the time. I'm glancing back at your eyes occasionally, and I'm looking away to have my thoughts. Meanwhile, you are looking in my eyes all the time when I'm speaking. And then it gets reversed when you start speaking. There are some cultural exceptions to this in the Caribbean and in Asia, but generally speaking, when you're speaking to somebody, you're not looking them in the eyes all the time. When you're listening to somebody, you are. If you can replicate that as you do these films, they're going to feel a lot more human. Eye level. Know where the camera is. I'm not reading at the moment, but if I were, this is where my eyes would be. I would be looking at the screen and not looking at you, and I would be doing that sort of staring thing. Don't stop and start. If you make a mistake, go all the way through. It'll also help you to formulate your thoughts better. But don't start and stop after 2 sentences and do it again, because you'll end up with 16 versions of 2 sentences that you don't want to use, and you'll eventually throw your hands up in frustration and just stop doing it. So if you make a mistake, roll with it, go all the way through. You can easily repeat the whole process. It doesn't take a great deal of time. Okay, so to sum up, this is super important because this is your connection to people who you may not have or may never meet. And if they can feel that you're an actual human being rather than somebody reading a script or somebody staring down a lens, you're going to have a connection. Eye level. That's the person's eyes. Don't stare at them all the time. There's a balance in how, when you're speaking to somebody, how much you look at them and how much you look away. And finally, roll with it. Just make your mistakes, make your mistakes, make your mistakes. Mistakes are the way to getting better. But if you keep making the same mistake, i.e. the mistake in the first paragraph, and you go back over the first paragraph or the first 20 seconds, it won't work. Roll with it. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Tori. I've been making videos for about 6 years now, and when I first started, I found it really overwhelming. There are a lot of steps involved, and especially if you're trying to do it on your own, I can imagine sort of a panicked feeling might be coming over you right now. So I just wanted to offer a couple of tips to streamline your workflow for best results in your video and in your mental health. So let's dive in. Number 1, do not make a script, just make an outline. It's going to be really tempting, especially if you're new to being on camera, to make a script to protect yourself from ever saying anything wrong. But in reality, unless you're an actor who has tons of experience, who's accustomed to memorizing really quickly and regurgitating, it's gonna come off weird. It's gonna be awkward and stilted. You're gonna look like you're either reading or trying really hard to remember. And ultimately, the reason to make a video is to help build a connection between you and your class. So, extemporizing is the name of the game. Just have an outline of the basic points that you wanna hit. Leave it nearby where you're filming, on your computer screen or off to the side. Just check in every so often to make sure that you're hitting everything, and trust yourself. You're the expert. Schedule waypoints for review. Don't cheat yourself by working right up to the deadline. If something's due on a Tuesday, make sure that you have your draft ready by Sunday so that you can show your friend, get their feedback, and then implement it before having to turn in the final product. Except that you are gonna need somebody else to look at your videos before you can declare them done. This is especially important because there's so many moving pieces in film, and just like with an essay, when you've been looking at it for way too long and you just can't even read it anymore, you don't even know what the words are saying, there will come that point with video as well, where you really are gonna want another pair of eyes to just check in with, make sure everything's making sense, looking good. So identify that person maybe before you even start filming. Hey, mom, hey, best friend, hey, old colleague or roommate or whoever. Can I use your clean set of eyes just to tell me how this looks? Most people at this point are pretty media literate, and so if something looks weird, they'll be able to tell you. And if they're noticing, it's the kind of thing that your students will be noticing or distracted by as well. All right, that's it for me for today. I hope this was a helpful intro to workflow. I hope that your anxieties are a little bit calmed. You can do it. Just stay organized, stay focused, and get help. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.